Hello, my name is Johnny. Welcome to another Marvel Character Talk. Today we're going to look at something different, a comic size Marvel item. It's an actual annual report from 1994 looking at the sales and everything, but it's done in part of it comic book form. If you'd like, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, reply, and share. Let's take a closer look here. They did this for several years in a row. And this is before Marvel was going to hit the bankruptcy and everything all go south with it. This was right after the peak times of all the special covers and everything. Annual report, there's the trading symbol. And this is a full cover, so we'll flip it over and then it continues, the artwork continues on the other side there. There's Wolverine, the rest of them. Got Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, Storm, and interestingly, there's Spider-Woman. Let's take a look here. Just like in a comic, they have that little bit down at the bottom. So it's the annual report for 94. So this one is came out in the beginning of 95. And see, it's got art and writing in it. Might recognize some of those folks. Go here. I believe things had already started to go down a little bit from the peak from the earlier 90s. That's cool. There's MODOK, Mandarin. So definitely something interesting. I have several other ones from the right before that, and some of the quarterly reports, which were thinner. It'd be interesting. Might do some of that in the future. This is when Marvel was its own company, and then they started buying things like Toy Biz, Fleer, and Malibu Comics, and different things, and the trading cards that were flying high in the early 90s, and then it all went down. That's when they started selling off a lot of the character rights to everything, and then it took forever for the consolidation under Disney to get most of everything back under one roof. And they still don't have all the Spider-Man characters. They have a sharing arrangement currently with Spider-Man for the big thing. And there's Wolverine again, Spidey, Iron Man. And just think this is years before the MCU, and years before even Blade came out, or the first XMen, or the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was still 8 years away. So there wasn't big movies for Marvel. They had animation, and that's about it. And some really crummy live action things that they attempted. And they are in the Danger Room, always cutting off one of the Sentinel's head. There's a nice panel right there. There's Ghost Rider and Punisher real big at this time period. Well, it's interesting to look at these. These have a little bit of collectible value, not much though. And then filming this in May of 2023, just a couple of years ago, the values of the comics had gone way up, especially the graded comics, and there's been a big pullback in price on a lot of the grading comics, about 50% or more, just in the last year. Where it will go, who knows? It all depends, of course, on how the regular economy goes, and if there's big seismic shifts in the world, and the war, and the economy, and what have you, who knows what things will happen. And the more negative things happen, more negative happened to the prices and everything on collectibles. And of course, the parallel to this is, of course, Marvel was owned by Disney. Just a few years ago, Disney's stock was flying high, and the last year or so, it's had a major pullback on prices. Just for two reasons, mainly the economy as a whole, and then also there's sort of a backlash against Disney for different reasons. So we've got the gray gargoyle there. It's interesting on who they choose to feature. Of course, they had the big Spider-Man and Venom comics at this time period, and a little bit past that now with McFarlane gone and so forth. But as you can see, the style of Spider-Man like that continues. It's talking about more of the cards, and that's interesting. There's Marvel company, but they own the card company, so there's Batman. I had some of those animated cards. That's kind of neat. Had one of the Flintstones and so forth. All the trading cards are interesting. Well, you can see there's quite a bit of pages in here before we get to the rest of it, where they go into more of the detail on the. And you can see this is more what we call maybe Professor Hulk now, when Bruce Banner's mind was in charge of the Hulk. Here, he was pretty new then. That's Iron Man there, and is that the Hulk Buster armor or something like it? Mentioning shirts. There's always been collectibles and merchandise for Marvel since they started coming out in the Marvel Age of Comics in the 1960s. Definitely tell the style of this artwork of the time period. And it's interesting, there's Uatu the Watcher. Go into prices and so forth, and dollars, and where they were at the time period, how things going last couple of years, and more pages. So it's sort of like that on, but it's still lettered like a lettering, and it's got nice comic stuff on the edges. 1990s years, 3 decades ago now. And with stock, they had a lot of the stock splits and stuff, and but eventually it went down and thing with the bankruptcy, where it was pennies on the dollar if you had held on to the stock and rode it all the way to the bottom. It lost out big time on it as it crumbled. And eventually there was no MRV stock to buy. Bankruptcy and dissolved. Look through that there. Video's running long here, but you get the idea. So they do all the information, but it was interesting to see that comics there. That they had in the beginning. There you go, and here's part of telling the tale. Look at first quarter of 93, the high, and then down after Spock split, but down and lower as it went into the beginning of 95. There's the companies that they had, the Heroes World and stuff. So we're still kind of flying high, but on the downward trend, and it wasn't going to improve. Is that something different from Marvel Character Talk? Flip through the 1994 annual report for Marvel, done in comic book form. More Marvel Character Talk to come. Thanks for watching.